Okay guys, welcome to another 8-bit face-off kerfuffle, and this week I'm taking a look at Target Renegade, released by the Imagine label, which was owned by Ocean, and this was in 1988. Now this was this unofficial sequel to Renegade. I don't believe Target Renegade was an arcade game, whereas the original one obviously was. Now for some strange reason, despite this coming out in 1988, it wasn't released for the Atari ST or the Commodore Amiga, which is a wee bit strange. So first version I'm going to look at is the one that I did have back in the day. This is on the C64. Now you'll see there your protagonist looks like a rather fetching version of Sylvester Stallone, straight from Rambo 3 or Rambo 3 I think it is, when he's got that fetching long hair. Now the original Renegade on the C64 was an absolute abomination, awful, maybe not quite as bad as the Commodore Amiga, but that's not saying anything at all. Both were terrible, and I was delighted to see that this version, this kind of sequel, is much better. It was a multi-load, probably just because it had bigger levels, you know, certainly more graphic detail. Excuse me. Now I did have this back in the day, and for whatever reason I simply could not play it. I just found it too hard. Now I have played it a few times over the intervening years, and it's, you know, I'm not going to say it's impossible, but it's certainly not as hard as I thought it was, you know, back then. But graphics in this are lovely. Now you'll see there that the Ocean, I think it was probably Rambo was the first game, they came up with basically a system whereby they would take a sprite, and a kind of high resolution sprite, and then they would overlay a black outline around it, which kind of gave a really nice kind of clean look. You know, this looks really super detailed. You know, prior to that, the C64 had massive expanded sprites, but Ocean really came into their own when it came to stuff like this, and it looks really nice. I always remember Gary Bracey. I did interview Gary Bracey a couple of years ago, and he was talking about this technique where they kind of overlaid it, you know, and they got a really nice look. I think Hyper Sports, that was another game that used that kind of technique, and it looks really nice, whereas Green Beret and Green Beret used the kind of just the kind of blocky graphics. But yeah, this looks really nice, and it does play really well. And I think you could also have, you could have simultaneous 2 players. So this was kind of, if you wanted to get the Double Dragon experience at home, then this was probably the best place to go, because I don't think Double Dragon, the original Double Dragon, was again absolutely woeful on the home systems. Yeah, I don't know why this never got a release on Atari ST or Commodore Amiga, because this came out in 1988, and you know, the Amiga and ST were very much things at that point. I mean, I was just on the brink of getting my Commodore Amiga. I'd had an ST for almost a year. So I don't know why it only came out for the 3 systems. And you see there, you've got a wee time limit. You've got to get to the lift. Well, I presume that's the lift there. You've just got to presumably try and take care of all the baddies. I don't think there's any indication of how many more you've got. It looks like I'm about to lose a life here. And it's going to be curtains. Yeah, that's the C64 one. Let's move on to the Spectrum one. Now this more specifically is the Spectrum 1281. Graphics will be the same, everything about the game will be the same except the music, I think anyway. Right, we need to go with Kempston, player 2 we're not interested in, so let's just go for keyboard, and let's hit that start button. Right, as expected, the Spectrum 1 is it's wouldn't describe it as monochrome, but you know, I don't know how many colours there are there. There's maybe 3 or 4 colours. Looks very similar to the original one, and that's not a bad thing, because to be fair, the Spectrum Renegade was actually a very, very playable game. The Amstrad one was definitely the best home version of the game, like I says, whereas the C64 one was absolutely awful. Background graphics in this one for this level are different. I wouldn't say amazed, I was always surprised at just how different some games were across different platforms. You know, I would always imagine that a game that came out in the Amstrad, Spectrum, C64, they would look the same, but it seemed to be that, you know, programmers or development teams, they had a bit of a free rein when it came to designing their own game. They probably had, you know, a rough kind of agenda, right? You need to stick to this, lads. It's going to include guys that are going to have baseball bats, it's going to be in a car park, whatever, and they just kind of let them come up with their own thing. I mean, you did on occasion get games that were, you know, almost identical, your Chucky Eggs or Manic Miners, but games like this, they tended to kind of just go for the strengths of each machine, which I suppose when you think about it, is probably the best way to go. So yeah, this is what I would have expected from the Spectrum one. Detailed graphics, it does play very, very nicely. Has that guy got a box in his head? Oh no, it'll be a crash helmet, won't it? I thought it was one of these guys coming home for cosplay, dressed as is it Mike from Minecraft? As I says, yep, you could play 2 players at this, but I don't think I ever did. And I'm certainly not going to get that opportunity now, because I don't have any mates that actually live nearby to play games like this in 2-player. If anybody can come up with some easy to run program that allows 2 people to play this at the same time, that would be absolutely wonderful. Take that to the head with I'm assuming that's a kind of sledgehammer of sorts. Whereas the C64 one, it's a baseball bat you get. And he's sporting a rather natty pair of jeans. In fact, I think if you notice, all the baddies have got the same jeans on. Obviously got a 3-for-1 deal out of Primark, something like that. Right, into the lift we go. And downstairs to the next level. Ah, bugger. So the first thing you need to try and do is a flying kick to basically demount. Demount? Is that the right phrase? Demount the motorcyclist? I think it is. You'll notice there the computer opponent seems to be completely invulnerable to a speeding motorbike, which seems a tad unfair if you ask me. Come on, get up, man. Right, this time, hey, there we go. Now, it's a pity you couldn't just jump on his motorbike and bugger off. Now, if this came out now, obviously it would be a bit like Grand Theft Auto 5, and you could obviously take the motorbike and ride off into the sunset, or possibly run them over a few times. So I'm assuming, yeah, you've got a certain amount of time to get to the end, and will it be so many baddies? I've just noticed there it says ground, first, second and third. Now I don't know whether did I come from the ground floor? I'm not quite sure. I'm assuming I must have, because I only went up 1 level. In fact, did I not go down a level? So I'm assuming the ground must be the highest one. Yeah, possibly. So, anyway, listen, that's enough of the Spectrum one. That is really, really nice. Let's move on to the very last version, which is the Amstrad one. Hold the bus, not so fast. There's a 4th version, so don't go bailing out after the Amstrad one. I just didn't do my homework properly. So yeah, this is the 3rd one. This is the last of the home computer ones. This is the Amstrad one. Now it does look very, very sort of similar in graphic style to the original Amstrad one, which again is not a bad thing because the original was, the original Renegade on the Amstrad was really nice, a lot of nice shading. There's a guy with a rather natty beard, I think, or is it a big kind of handlebar moustache? I'm not quite sure. It looks like, I'll notice that every sort of every hero that you play, the different versions, you all look different. C64 one you look like Rambo in the third film, the second one you look more like something like the Warriors, and then this one you look more like Brian Johnston out of AC/DC. So there you go, I think they were missing a trick, they could have possibly had a AC/DC tie-in somewhere along the lines. But this one looks fine. I would probably say out of the 3 versions that I've looked at so far, this has probably got the kind of the least impressive background visuals. That would make a good thriller dance video where you can kind of move back and forwards like that. But I mean, it's not bad. It's probably a bit in between. I mean, if anything, I would probably expected the C64 one to kind of look a bit like this. I mean, it's got nice use of colour, very, very colourful, very bright colours. But again, yeah, it's very, very pixely. But it does look good, absolutely not, I'm not knocking it at all. It's a really nice version. I got 3 minutes and 41 seconds to get to the end. I notice in this one I appear to be on level 2. Literally level 2 of the lift. Whereas the Spectrum one had, I think it was ground, first, second and third. Music in this one's a bit, I wouldn't really say it neither suits nor not suits the game, if that makes any sense. There's that dude back in his motorbike again. Try and get another wee flying kick to get rid of him. Take that, son. In the C64, I'm sure it just explodes, whereas in the Spectrum one and the Amstrad one, it keeps kind of going. Yeah, the music's not the greatest, I have to say. It's a bit too kind of plinky plonky and it doesn't kind of really have any sort of tune. But you know what? Not a bad version. Still a nice little game. So that is the Amstrad one. So anyway, don't go yet. We've got one last version. Right, this is Target Renegade, and this is on the Nintendo Entertainment System, the NES, as it was more commonly known as. Now, I'm quite expecting this to do its own thing, because anytime the NES had an arcade port or whatever, it always kind of put its own take on this. So, kind of looks fairly similar. I wouldn't say it was any more graphically impressive than any other, of the home versions. There we go. You sit down, son. Plays a wee bit quicker than the other ones. And you have got unfeasibly large biceps. Possibly this is the Mr. Blobby edition, I'm not quite sure. Get them dusted, son. And in this one you play a ginger person. with a rather natty turquoise jumpsuit, no less. I think if I was going to be any of them, I would rather be the Rambo one. Yeah, definitely. You know, long ponytail, red band round my head. Yeah, I would settle for that one any time of the day. Ruddy's Cheese Emporium, no less. Music's not bad. This one at least has music and sound effects playing at the same time. Why can't I get him off the motorbike? That's it. Oh, pick up the heart, quick, there we go. I notice a bit of glitching going on with the sprites. I mean, this one's got kind of four baddies all on the screen at once. No, look, there you go, I've kind of completely disappeared. So it's obviously kind of pushing the NES quite a bit. So anyway, yeah, that's the kind of 4 versions. C64 one is really nice, nice detailed graphics, nice sound. Spectrum one is what you'd expect from the Spectrum, plays well. Amstrad one, excuse me, looks really nice. Slightly blocky graphics, but nice use of colour. Pardon me, I've got the bad case of hiccups. And lastly, I've got the NES one. It's alright. I don't like the fact that the sprites tend to disappear, and you need to factor in the fact that people were paying, what, 30 quid for this, whereas the 8-bit owners were getting this for, what, about £6-7, so it was a lot less money. I would say probably this is my least favourite, this one. The 3 home computer versions are all good, but I'm going to go for the C64 one because I think it's got the best graphics and best sound. But anyway, as always guys, thank you very, very much for watching.